Okay. I've got my list, but I'm not going to show it to you. It's very personal. It didn't take me long to do. It took me about 5 minutes, to be honest. If it's taking you a lot longer, totally cool. If it takes you days, weeks, totally cool. My 5 minutes is the stuff that comes right off the top of my head, and as you could see very briefly there, it's a full page. And I'm 47 now, so there's a few things on there. I've got 2 kids, and I'm married, so there's a few things on there. I'm a sister, so there's a few things on there. You know, yeah. So what we're going to do next is we are going to honor this by writing a letter to ourselves. Okay? We're each going to write the letter that we feel we need to receive. So I want you to imagine when you're writing this letter that you're not writing it to yourself, but you, as the current, strong, wiser woman who's gone through everything that you just noted down on that page and is still here, I want you to write it to the woman you've just painted. Okay? So it will be, dear defeated version of me. Dear defeated version of me. Now, before we go any further, this letter is going to do 2 things. First, it's going to honor where you've been, but this is going to be a letter that you hang on to and that you pull out in the future when you feel like her again. Okay? So what we're going to do in this letter is we are going to acknowledge all of these past hurts and traumas and struggles. And we're going to look at how we came through it and how each of those situations has contributed to who we are today, has grown us in some way, has given our soul new awareness, has given our soul new understanding, has developed that most inner version of the I when we say I am. The I we're talking about is not the body. The I we're talking about is not the one experiencing these situations in this body. The I we're talking about is the deep, inner, knowing I. It's that I that will It's the I that will come out here. And at the end, you'll read this letter And it might surprise you what it says. So I don't want you to think about it too much. I want you to go with the flow. And I'll give you some sentence starters that you can use to help you. Dear defeated version of me, remember, we're writing to our future self, the future self that's going to read this again each time we feel like her. Dear defeated version of me, this is not the first time you've felt like this. This is not the first time you felt like this. And this is not the last time you will feel like this. If this feels good to you, you can start your letter this way. I'm going to give you a bit more. And if it feels good to you, you use it as yours. If it doesn't feel good to you and something else is emerging that feels better for you, then you use that. But this is to hold your hand through this process. And you can hold back or you can just watch. Okay, dear defeated version of me, this is not the first time you've felt like this, and this is not the last time you will feel like this. Withdrawing from the world, withdrawing from the world right now is okay. It's even necessary. It's even necessary. Something has happened to you. Something has happened to you that requires quiet thought, something has happened to you that requires quiet thought, and a deep commitment to feeling the experience, so that you can liquefy and emerge as a new version of you. Okay, I'm going to read that again. Dear defeated version of me, this is not the first time you felt like this, and this is not the last time you will feel like this. Withdrawing from the world right now is okay. It's even necessary. Something has happened to you that requires quiet thought and a deep commitment to feeling the experience so that you can liquefy and emerge as a new version of you. You are strong. Curling up and withdrawing. Curling up and withdrawing. If you're wondering why my voice sounds like this, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. My daughter woke up and went to the bathroom at 2:50 and woke me up, and I haven't been able to get back to sleep since. So I thought, well, I laid in bed for a while, and then this girl has been calling to me. So that's why I sound like a croaky frog. You are strong. Curling up and withdrawing are not signs of weakness. Full stop. Curling up and withdrawing are your body's way of processing hurt and challenge. So that it can be integrated into you. Curling up and withdrawing are your body's way of processing hurt and challenge so that it can be integrated into you. It being the experience, so that the experience you're having can be integrated into you. This experience is being wired into your nervous system. This experience is being wired into your nervous system. Your core is learning a new program. Your deep inner self is upgrading with a new operating system. Think of this moment as a software upgrade. Think of this moment as a software upgrade. When our phones need a software update, they notify us. We've all gotten those messages. When our phones need a software update, they notify us. A bug is being fixed. Full stop. A bug is being fixed. Or an improvement is being integrated. When our phones need a software update, they notify us. A bug is being fixed or an improvement is being integrated. The notification is irritating. The notification is irritating. It interrupts. Does interrupt have one R or two? Not sure. I'm not going to care. The notification is irritating. It interrupts our flow. We need to authorize the update. We need to authorize the update. When we do, our phone turns off. It is out of service. It cannot be used. The phone does not apologize for this update. Full stop. For this inconvenience. Full stop. The phone does not apologize for this update, for this inconvenience. The software update is a service. Full stop. The software update is a service. It is an improvement on the current situation. It is an improvement on the current situation. Right now, I'm 47, so I'm going to write 47. I think I'm 47. Might be 48. I think I'm 47. Right now, you are 47 years old. Over your lifetime, you have had many software updates. Some shut off your life for longer than others. Some shut off your life for longer than others. But each and every time the phone restarted, but each and every time the phone restarted, your life came back on track. With each software update, you are stronger and more capable than the previous version. Let me prove it to you. When you were, okay, and this is where it gets very personal. So this is where we're going to continue individually, and then we'll come back together again at the end. So what we're going to say here is when you were a certain age or in a certain location or in a certain job or struggling with a certain something, and you're going to list something from that page that you did previously. So when you were the bad thing, the challenging thing, you thought, right? Or you felt. Okay, you thought or you felt. And then I want you to remember the challenge. Okay? And then I want you to think about how that situation improved you. How did it modify you to make you a newer, better version? What awareness did you gain? What new capacity did you develop? What new ability to empathize with others grew out of that experience? What circumstance in your life did you alter? What did that event or circumstance cause you to do that you would not have done without that adversity? So when you were experiencing the challenge you previously noted, you thought or you felt or you were worried about something along those lines, this. In the end, however, so let me put something down as an example. So you've got that, and then we'll do this individually and then come back together afterwards. When you were 28 to 30 and locked in an all-consuming quarter life crisis, you thought that there was no point to life. You were plagued with the relentless awareness. You were plagued with the relentless awareness that there was no point doing or cleaning anything because it would just get dirty again, or just all end anyway. In the end, however, after sinking into that process, You read a lot and searched a lot, and you emerged with 2 new awarenesses that have been your guiding principles ever since. 1, seek joy. 2, this too shall pass. So love what is lovable. Does lovable have an E? Don't know. So love what is lovable, because it won't last forever. And tolerate what is not. Because it also won't last forever. Now I've got, as I said, I've got a lot of stuff on that page. I'm not going to write in this letter all of it. I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to look at the ones that still feel quite anchored in me. I'm going to look at the ones that felt most impossible at the time, and I'm going to honor those ones in this letter to show that it seemed impossible. It was not impossible. I made my way through it. I came out the other side stronger. So I might pick just 3 or 4. Let's do that separately now. I'm just going to pause this video. And then when I'm finished with mine, we'll come back together and then we'll close off our letter together. Okay? Okay. Make sure you have a nice warm drink. I'm going to go top up my tea. And make sure you continue to protect your quiet, alone time so that you can carry yourself through this thought process. Okay. And I'll see you back maybe in, I'm guessing it might take me about 15 or 20 minutes. Don't spend too long. If you feel that it's going to take a really long time, you won't do it. So just tell yourself, I'm just going to write maybe 2 or 3 of these out. Okay? Keeping in mind this, when you were, and remember, you're talking to your future self, so you're using the second person, you're using you. When you were, okay, you thought or you felt, okay? In the end, however, all right, so that's those 3 steps that you're going to look at for each of these. Okay, let's come back together shortly. Okay, so how did you guys get on? I have actually tackled, I've numbered them here. If you haven't done that, it's kind of a nice thing to do just to keep yourself organized. And I numbered the pages. And I've written 6 pages of things. And I could keep going. I've only crossed I've only crossed a few things off my list here. But I feel like as I'm going through this, I don't need to write anymore because it's already very, very, very clear to myself that every single one of these experiences that felt so terrifying and so scary and so debilitating and so immobilizing at the time, they were the poignant moments in life that allowed new growth, that allowed new chapters to open up, and that without those things, the hamster wheel would just continue, right? I think we often need to be maybe pulled off the merry-go-round to notice the other rides, to give us an opportunity to spot something else and to go and enjoy something else. I mean, the ones that I've written about here are, I don't know what sorts of things you have been writing about. Here I've got when your tenants suddenly announced their untimely departure. You thought it would be an impossible task to find new direction with your house. In the end, however, you had friends and family fly in to assist. You found a builder and orchestrated all the work and made beautiful memories together. You deepened your friendship with two girlfriends. Your kids admire and love what you created. You made a new friend in a new house manager I found, and you are already meeting beautiful new people who feel drawn to your house, and you are entertaining a whole new facet to a career because of the need to figure out how to make the house financially successful. Talked about when my son was attacked by the dog on the beach and we thought he was going to die. That's something I'm still going through. So I've said here, even though you are not yet at the end of the process, you can already see that. And I talk about the ways that experience has forced growth in me. Leaving teaching when my daughter was rushed to hospital on oxygen and was in oxygen or in hospital for 4 days. When I was took a panic attack scuba diving, when I was told I couldn't get pregnant, the decision to ultimately leave teaching entirely. These were, really big things, and I've got so many more. That's just a few of them. But we're going to move now to the next step, which is current day. So we're going to be right now in the midst of something. And like I did with this one, I said, even though you are not yet at the end of the process, you can already see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at something that we're in the middle of right now. And we're going to think about where do we think this is leading us? I mean, we've got now a pretty big vault of proof to show that when we've been in this situation in the past, although it's felt evil, victimizing, debilitating, destructive, impossible, we have found our way through it. It was not something that was too much for us. We found our way through it and we emerged stronger with an upgraded operating system, right? So now we're going to think about something that we're in the middle of, and we're going to project forward with a hope of what it's doing to us, with a hope of the upgraded operating system we're going to have, or with a guess, right? So currently, I'm struggling a lot with, and then you're going to put what it is. Then you're going to talk about how the situation is affecting you, okay? This situation is causing me to think and feel okay? I'm worried that I'm just going to give you some sentence starters. You can jot them down on your page as I'm doing, kind of leaving some gaps to allow you to fill them in. I'm worried that I'm struggling with I'm angry about I'm hurt because you might answer some of these, you might answer all of them, you might answer none of them, and put your own. The idea is that before you move on to thinking about why this might be happening to you, what kind of growth it's trying to bring you, you're going to honor the experience you're having. You're going to sit in it. You're going to take a bath in it. You are going to, without guilt, articulate how awful this is. It's very, very, very important to honor and validate the difficult experience you're having. Think when your phone shuts down, when you get that dreaded software update message, right? You're like, oh my God, I was just in the middle of sending some messages. Oh my God, I need to do this. And you're like, I don't have the time to shut my phone down and upgrade the system. When I get the software update message on my phone, I will ignore it for weeks until my husband sees my phone and says, you have a software update. You really need to install that because you have no idea. It might be a really serious bug that's being fixed. It might be a real security issue for your phone if you don't install that update. And I usually need him to prod me after weeks of ignoring the message. And sometimes I won't even do it. Sometimes I'll just leave it and he'll do it. I do not want the interruption in my life to install that software update. It's painful. And now that's just my phone being offline for a few minutes, right? That's just an interruption to a schedule. Yeah? And that by itself is painful enough. So these moments in our lives where we are having to go offline to restart, right, for that new software update to be installed, it's traumatic. It should not be. It should not be considered insignificant or something that needs to be toned down. It is a complete rewrite of your operating system. You are integrating new awarenesses into your nervous system, which will completely alter how you perceive the world around you, what you notice, what you don't notice, what story you tell yourself about the things that happen to you, about what you're aware of. It's a complete rewrite of your operating system. And it is painful. And it's really important to pause and acknowledge that and to say, what I am experiencing does hurt. It is scary. It does make me angry. And there's no shame in any of that. It is part of the process. So any sentence starters that you feel that you need until you feel that you get this out of you, until you feel you fully acknowledge every little dust bunny in every little corner of the emotions that you have surrounding this experience, you need to write it down. You need to release it from your body, because our brains get overloaded and we feel we need to hang on to this because we feel that if we don't hang on to it, somehow we are not accepting what is. It becomes part of our identity. But when we put it down on paper, we can release it out of our body because we know it's held somewhere. We know it's held here. We know we won't lose it. We can come back to this and we can read it anytime we want to feel the depth of pain we're currently feeling. But we don't have to live with that pain all the time. And when we get it out of us like this, it becomes easier to move through the liquefying process to the state, the new state of being. This helps us transition the process. It helps us process what's going on. So I'm going to do mine. I want you to do yours. And then like before, we'll come back together for the final bit of this letter to our future selves, okay? And remember, your future self is going to be reading this. And this is going to be important because all this stuff that's going on right now is what your future self is going to be experiencing in the next event, all right? The next software update. So don't rush this. If you need to stop now, I might even go back to bed and get a little bit of sleep. I don't know. If you need to go and get some food, if you need to go to the loo, if you need to top up on a drink, do that. Don't power through until you're ready. You might walk away from this for days or weeks, okay? And then you can just come back and pick up here. I'm still in the flow, so I'm going to carry on, and then I'll come back and we'll conclude this letter. Okay, oddly that didn't take too long. I only filled in one page, and it's quite nice actually to condense the issue into, again, it's private, so I'm going to keep it here, to condense the issue into, those separate sentence starters. And so now that I've outlined, and now that you've outlined the current struggle, what we're going to do is look at the hope or the guess. So I'm going to give you a sentence starter for that, and then we'll do that privately, and then we'll come back for a final conclusion. So there's a couple ways we can do this. So I'm going to give you a few sentence starters, and you might want to do all of them, or you might just want to pick the ones or modify them. Okay, so in a perfect world, this challenge would be here to prompt, okay? In a perfect world, this challenge would be here to prompt, okay? Another possibility, if I could select how this turns out, I would choose. If I could select how this turns out, I would choose. This is maybe the hardest one. The worst possible resolution, resolution, the worst possible resolution to this situation would be if you select this one, if you want to do this one, and it's quite good to do this, the worst possible resolution to this situation would be, right? And then you would say, if that were to happen, the possible good that could come from that would be. Okay, so if that were to happen, the possible good that could come from that would be. So you're going to look at what the worst possible outcome would be, and then how that could still be good. And then what that does is it helps you to release a hope for an outcome, and it allows you to flow like water through the experience, right? Knowing that no matter how it turns out, ultimately it will be okay. Okay? So let's go ahead and do this. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. Let's go ahead and do this, and then we can come back together for final. Now remember, these are just possible sentence starters, and if you want to Use all of them, you can. Some of them you can, or modify them, you can. Don't try to think too much. You want to go with the flow. Don't try to make your letter pretty. You want to go with the flow. Okay, if you want to type this up later neatly, you can. But, like you might have scribbles and things, and that's completely fine. Okay? All right, we'll come together in another few minutes. Okay. That was therapeutic. It's quite interesting. As I entertained the worst possible scenario, the worst possible outcome from my current struggle, I realized that it's actually not that bad. And I hope you have come to a very similar realization that even if the worst, the thing you're worried about the most, even if that were to happen, actually you'd still be okay. Okay, we're going to close this letter now. And I hope that not only has this exercise released tension from your body, but it's also created a resource that you will be able to use in the years to come when things become really challenging again. My mother, who is now in her 70s, has said that the one thing she has learned over the years is that every challenge and struggle she has gone through, which has felt impossible, has simply made her stronger and prepared her for even bigger challenges thereafter. So we need to find a way of embracing these moments and saying thank you for them, knowing that it's building our strength and capacity for the future. Okay, so dear, we're not starting a new letter. I'm just reiterating right, because I started with dear defeated version of me. So we're going to go back to that. Dear defeated version of me. Yes, life is a struggle. Yes, we want to curl up and withdraw when things become too much. Dear defeated version of me, yes, life is a struggle. Yes, we want to curl up and withdraw when things become too much. And yes, we can. It's okay. It's more than okay. It's more than okay. It's necessary. It's part of the process. It's necessary. It's part of the process. Get into bed. curl up under the duvet. Read whatever feels good. Watch whatever feels good. Eat whatever feels good. Drink whatever feels good. Drop any guilt you have. Drop any guilt you have. You are allowed to feel this way. You are allowed to comfort yourself in the same way you would cuddle and comfort a distressed child. You are allowed to comfort yourself in the same way you would cuddle and comfort a distressed child. Be like the caterpillar. Be like the caterpillar. Slip away. Wrap yourself up and liquefy. Let the process happen. Let the process rebuild you anew. Let the process rebuild you anew. Be when the time is right, you will emerge as a new version of yourself. This moment, this situation is simply a software update. You've got this. I love you. Much love. And then we're going to refer to ourselves as a version. Version 47. My age. Much love, version 47. I have quite a few pages here now. Nine. And it feels good. Now, what to do with this? I'm going to show you. Look, I'm in my slippers. I should be in bed. I'll try to go back to bed. Okay, so we've got her. We need to name her. I think I'm going to call this Liquid. Liquid. Yeah, perhaps that's what I'll call this. Okay. Now, if we turn this over, we need to sign it. When we turn this over, we've got a couple of options here. We've got this, and then we've got this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to staple this together. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm going to staple this together. And then I'm going to slide it under here. I'm going to fold it first. And I'm going to put it on the back. Okay? So then what happens, this is going to end up hanging on the wall. And I'm going to put her somewhere in the house. She's going to be a constant reminder to me of these periods in life. And when I notice myself feeling like this or doing this, I'm going to go and I'm going to take the letter from behind and I'm going to read it. And that will remind me that not only is it okay to feel this way, but it's essential. It's part of the process. It's okay. I can do it without guilt. I can do it without thinking like I need to interrupt the process. I can sink into it, knowing that it's a software update. Dear friends, thank you for sharing this journey with me. I hope it has been as enjoyable for you as it has been for me. I hope she brings you peace. I hope she brings you acceptance. I hope she brings you tranquility. I hope she brings you transformation. I hope she brings you love, self-love. Much love.